I bet. Welcome back to another episode of Toxiris Discovers. Today we got, well, technically 4 albums suggested by the community and 3 I found for myself. So let's get right into it.
It's the gang, we done came on. The gang.
Alright, so as the first project, obviously I am starting off with the project I picked for myself. The first one of them being Aaron May, No Recognition. I don't know if this really is an album. This feels more like an EP, a mixtape, something to announce that he is back, because Aaron May hasn't dropped anything since I think it was 2019. And honestly, I've been waiting for new music by him, and I'm happy with this. I'm not impressed. It's not anything mind-blowing, but it's again a very solid project from this man. And well, these 2 would be my favorite tracks. I would overall rate the album at 8 out of 10 because it's very enjoyable, very brief but very good.
Between me and you, it's a major difference. I will never end this for no recognition. I'm just making up for a lifetime of losses. Nigga think of his ass sitting in the jury, and even in this, fuck them niggas. I still gotta talk them a bus.
Then we get to the next project I found for myself, which is Fort Minor, The Rising Tide. If you don't know who or what the fuck Fort Minor is, you know Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park, that dude. And yeah, he made a rap album, and I gotta say it is pretty good. I feel like at some points it is, maybe that is just because I know that, but it is kind of noticeable that it is the first time that he is making a rap album, because at some points it kind of feels like he's not really that familiar with the genre, but it's still a very good album. Very good features on there, obviously a couple hits too. Yeah, overall a very solid album. And that storytelling track, jeez, that shit brought goosebumps to my body. I don't know about y'all. Y'all need to listen to that one. It's fire.
He crawled out of bed like he always did, bacon and eggs with wife and kids. He lived on the 2nd floor of a little store.
Well, overall I would also rate this album an 8 out of 10 for different reasons, but it's definitely a very good project. With that being said, we're getting to the last project I found for myself, which would be Wiz Khalifa, Big K.R.I.T, Girl Talk, and Smoke DZA, Full Court Press. This project was released this year, and it's a pretty interesting combination. I mean, Big K.R.I.T and Wiz Khalifa have collaborated before, and I know that Smoke DZA was in the mix before too, but all of these 3 plus the producer Girl Talk making an album is still kind of funny to me. But I gotta say, all of the tracks on this album are at least somewhat enjoyable. Most of them are really enjoyable. And even though it's not really like the most profound music, it still is really good, really catchy, and just something to have a good time to. So I would overall rate the project 8.5 out of 10 and call these 2 tracks my favorites of the project.
Bringing that bread up, pouring that bread up, look how I whip the knee. Never gonna let up, put on that pedal, no one could. Keep a peace, stay inside my release. Broke niggas make me itch, they be super cheap.
Well, then we get into the projects from the community, suggested by the community. The first one is kind of tricky because the man Lorsum suggested something in the Discord chat, but he didn't leave a comment, so I just threw it in. But I don't have a comment to put in here, but yeah, it's suggested by him. Lil Wayne, The Carter 5. Well, this is now the second to last Carter project I need to hear to complete the series, and I have to say this one is good. It's not, I don't think it's the best Carter I've heard. I don't think it's the worst either. I think it's just pretty good. It has a couple absolutely fantastic tracks like Mona Lisa, or my favorite track, Let It All Work Out.
I'm in this bitch. Yeah. Was on the outside.
And it's overall pretty good project, but I felt like some tracks are really unnecessary and just not as enjoyable. Overall, they just don't bring anything good to the table. And even some tracks that are pretty popular, such as, for example, Uproar. I've never been a big fan of that track, and I'm still not. And I felt like tracks like that one could have been cut out of the project, and that would have increased the quality to me. Still, it is a very solid project, and I would overall rate it a 7.5 out of 10. Then we're getting to the next project, which is Wavyy, UNDERDOG, suggested by Melvin Could Never. That's a funny ass name, first of all. Well, I have never heard of this man, and I was not surprised because he is very, very unpopular. I think his most popular songs, at least on Spotify, only have a couple thousand streams, and it is noticeable while you hear this project that he is still on the rise, as it is also called Underdog. But I feel like he plays this underdog role throughout the project perfectly, because first of all, the project isn't that long, but he covers a couple different subgenres of hip-hop that kind of makes the project feel like he's just trying new shit out to figure out who he is as an artist and to find a spot in the game. And yeah, the project, mostly the first track, the intro track, I'm gonna let that play for y'all.
Crazy over the Red October shoe with Lil Johnny turned to Wavyy, who would've fucking knew they had knowledge about the game.
All of these tracks and the whole concept feels like a real underdog project. It matches the name, it matches the situation, and a lot of the tracks are really enjoyable. So I'd overall rate the project once again at an 8 out of 10. Then we're getting to the next project, which is My Bloody Valentine, Loveless, suggested by the man K.R.I.T. Now this is a pretty interesting project because I have never heard anything like this before, and I don't know if I listened to the album in the correct way. First of all, I found it very interesting how the vocals and instrumental blend in together, where like the vocals are not the leading thing, but more of something that's mixed into the production overall. And that was pretty interesting. I like that a lot actually. But I don't know if I missed any great lyrical concepts on here. Personally, it was really hard to concentrate on the lyrics when it's big instrumental over it that kind of covers it up. So I don't know if I missed anything there. But it is overall a pretty well sounding project, but sometimes it just has a couple elements that just are not made for my ears, I guess, are just too rough for me personally. But that's not terrible, it just brings the rating down in my opinion. And it is pretty long with not too many tracks, so I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of that too. And I would overall, with all that being said, rate the project at a 6.5 out of 10. The last project of the day would be Thaiboy Digital, Legendary Member, suggested by, of course, the man Syphic. Now, once again, another Drain Gang project, another pretty good Drain Gang project. I gotta say, this was pretty enjoyable. Thaiboy had a couple good hooks on here, or maybe not only hooks, but overall a couple very enjoyable melodies that well, kind of stuck to my head for a bit. And overall, it is pretty solid. It's again nothing as mind-blowing as the first project I've heard from him, but it's still good. It's just overall this project really feels like, yeah, it's solid. It's good. It's okay. It's, yeah, nothing really outstanding, but pretty good. That's what it feels like to me, and well, that would leave it at a 7 out of 10. With that being said, thank you for listening, thank you for watching. Suggest some albums for the next episode in the comments, and have a great one.
Remember back then, all them hoes ain't want me. Now I'm ballin', all them same hoes on me. Mama told me that this came with the money and the motherfucking fame, even though I feel the same. I'm that nigga now, I'm that nigga now, I'm that nigga now, I'm that nigga now.